Visharaya sir, the galaxy of academic luminaries, renowned scholars in the respective field of respective fields who have assembled here in this virtual meeting. Now, during the past few years, what we can see is that the anti-reservation movement have gained momentum, and there is an approach to dilute the reservation policy. A purposefully well-planned, articulated confusion is being injected into the minds of the public and academia that a right to reservation is not a fundamental right. Adding fuel to the fire, the higher judiciary, instead of adopting a holistic view of reservation, is narrowing down its approach, which is reflected in the judgments, the recent judgments, that is Suresh Chandra Gautam and Mukesh Kumar. For example, in the case of Mukesh Kumar, the glaring inadequacy of representation was exposed. It is an epitome of an example of arbitrary exercise of power. Sir, if the state fails to identify and measure backwardness and inadequacy, it is nothing but arbitrary exercise of power. And in the event of arbitrary exercise, we believe that it will be corrected by the courts. To our dismay, it was not corrected at all. Why such confusion? Why have we undermined the ethos of the Constitution of India? Or why have we forgotten that the mission of the Constitution is to transform our society into a just society? Look, if Article 16.1 and 16.4 need a philosophical foundation, apart from the Constituent Assembly debates, it is furnished by the Rawlsian theory of justice and the redress principle. We're talking about equality of opportunity for those who have faced historical disadvantage. And we have not reached a stage in which we have corrected the historical disadvantage. And on the top of this, we are introducing the comparison, as aptly remarked by Indira Jaising Madam, comparison between merit and efficiency. So how do we evaluate merit in the context of denial of opportunities? I fail to understand how this is possible. Are we in a position to openly admit that there is an equitable distribution in the top governmental post? Talk about the professorships in the university, the central universities and the state-run universities. Can we say that there is an equitable distribution? Even for those fortunate who manage to get squeezed into the coveted positions of corridors of governmental institutions through the so-called merit seat, will narrate innumerable instances when they are forced to remember the fact that they are backward. We have ended untouchability theoretically, but we point it out as an example of social change in our UG classes and the PG class. To what extent it is wiped from our minds? It is still there in our minds. Reservation is a right, and 16.4 is not an exception, because there is so much of suffering, discrimination, and systematic exclusion of members of disadvantaged groups from resources, from opportunities and careers, and right is needed to fight the existing inequalities. Added to this, we are putting another ridiculous concept of economic reservation. The Constitution makers envisage reservation in a democratic process. The structures of the caste system is still there. It is seen everywhere. And the constitutional jurisprudence of recent approach on fundamental right to reservation is erroneous. This is a viewpoint of Mohan Gopal sir himself. And sir has mentioned that it stands on a weak reasoning. So the anti-reservation jurisprudence need to be urgently challenged. And let this be a powerful movement. As aptly remarked by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, be educated, be organized, be agitated. Thank you, sir.